They replaced him with an intern, then lost everything. Effective immediately, your role has been made redundant. The words were clean, polite, carefully rehearsed. Daniel Reed stared at the HR manager across the table, then at his director, Mark Ellis, who couldn't quite meet his eyes. Redundant? Daniel repeated. After 12 years, after building their biggest accounts, after carrying entire quarters on his back. It's a restructuring decision, Mark said stiffly. We're optimizing costs. Daniel nodded slowly. And my accounts? He asked. There was a pause. We've assigned them to a new resource. That's when the door opened. A nervous young intern stepped in, laptop clutched like a shield. Hi, he said awkwardly. I'm Kevin. Daniel blinked, then looked back at Mark. You replaced me, he said quietly. With an intern? Mark cleared his throat. It's a strategic shift, he said. Lower overhead, scalable model. Daniel almost smiled. Almost. How much are you saving? He asked. Mark hesitated. Around $200,000 a year. Silence filled the room. Then Daniel stood. Good, he said calmly. I hope it's worth it. No anger, no scene, just a quiet exit. That afternoon, Daniel packed his desk. No one really looked at him. A few awkward nods, a few whispered conversations. 12 years, reduced to a calendar invite and a handshake. As he reached the elevator, Kevin caught up to him. Hey, Daniel? He said nervously. Daniel turned. I just wanted to say, I've heard a lot about you, Kevin added. I'll try to do a good job. Daniel studied him for a moment. The kid wasn't the problem. He was just cheap. You will, Daniel said calmly, until you realize what the job actually is. Kevin frowned slightly, but Daniel just smiled faintly and stepped into the elevator. 3 weeks later, things started slipping. Why is Horizon Group not responding? Mark snapped in the boardroom. They've gone quiet, Kevin said, sweating. I've sent emails. Emails? Mark barked. That account is worth $12 million. I thought... You thought wrong. Another executive jumped in. And what about Stratex? Their renewal is delayed. Kevin swallowed. They're reviewing options. Mark's face darkened. They never review options. Because Daniel never gave them a reason to. Meanwhile, across town, Daniel sat in a modest office. One desk, one laptop, one fresh start. The name on the glass door, Reed Strategic Consulting. His phone rang. He didn't even need to check the name. Horizon Group, he answered. Daniel, the voice said immediately. Finally, we've been trying to reach you through your old company. I don't work there anymore, he replied calmly. A pause, then, good. Daniel leaned back slightly. How can I help? He asked. We're leaving them, the client said. We want you. Daniel closed his eyes for a brief second, not out of surprise, out of confirmation. I'll send you a proposal, he said. Within days, another call, then another, then 5 more. Stratex, Valencorp, Nordis Holdings. Every major account he had once managed was calling him. Back at his former company, chaos. We're bleeding clients, Mark shouted. This doesn't make sense, someone said. They've been loyal for years. Mark slammed his hand on the table. Find out why. But deep down, he already knew. Because relationships like that don't belong to companies, they belong to people. 2 months later, Daniel walked into a high-rise conference room, this time not as an employee, as the consultant. Across the table, Mark sat stiffly, face tight, eyes tired. Daniel, he said. Daniel nodded. Mark. No hostility, just reality. We'd like to discuss a partnership, Mark began carefully. Daniel raised an eyebrow. A partnership? Yes, Mark said. To stabilize key accounts. Daniel glanced at the documents, then back at him. You mean the accounts you replaced me on? He asked calmly. Mark's jaw tightened. We made a mistake, he admitted. The words tasted bitter. Daniel leaned forward slightly. I know, he said. Silence stretched. So, Mark continued, we're prepared to offer a competitive consulting contract. Daniel flipped the page, then paused. This number, he said, tapping it lightly, is lower than my previous salary. Mark froze. That's already above market, he said. Daniel smiled, not mockingly, just knowingly. You saved $200,000 replacing me, Daniel said. Mark didn't respond. Daniel closed the file. My rate, he said calmly, is $500,000. The room went still. That's outrageous, someone muttered. Daniel stood. No, he said quietly. What's outrageous is thinking experience has a discount. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and one more thing, he added. Mark looked up. I'm not here to save your company. A beat. I'm here to work with your former clients. And with that, he walked out. 6 months later. Daniel's consultancy had grown into a powerhouse, a small team, elite clients, full control. His former company? A shadow of what it once was. Cost cuts, layoffs, reputation damage. And Kevin? He sat quietly at his desk, scrolling through job listings, because now they were replacing him too. Final twist. As Daniel reviewed his client portfolio, one acquisition proposal stood out. A struggling company, familiar name, his former employer. He smiled, then signed. Not as revenge, but as ownership. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our channel if you like these stories.
Select now another video in our series of family and company dramas. They are all powerful stories of people coming back stronger after they have been humiliated or hurt by family members or their management. Always make sure you stay strong. Let nobody ever tell you what you are worth. You know the best. Of course.